Hey guys, welcome to the Massive Iron Channel. I'm Steve Shaw. In this video, I'm going to talk about three exercise variations that I created: the Bulldozer Row, the Skull Destroyer, and the Bulldozer Lateral. Before I get into this topic, if you have any questions or comments, drop them down below. The best topic ideas I turn into videos just like this. All right. So I'm going to show you, I got three videos ready to go here. I'm going to go over these movements. These are exercises I created over the years. Someone the other day asked me, are there any exercises you created? Could you go over them in depth, in detail? And it's been a while since I went over these exercises. So I'm going to do all three of these exercises in this video. I like these exercise variations. They're something I use myself. Some of them, people don't always understand why I'm doing them. So I'm going to try to present all the pros and maybe cons in this video. So this right here is a video I recorded in 2015 on what I call the Bulldozer Lateral. I actually started playing around with this variation, I believe, in 2013. I believe the first time I used it outside of my home gym was in a commercial gym. I was staying at Mark Lobleiner's house when I worked at Muscle and Strength. I recall doing this exercise in the gym and Mark laughing at me, right? So it's a little bit different of an exercise variation. Basically, with a side lateral raise, one of the downsides is you're starting at your side, so you don't have a lot of leverage. So understand, by starting on your opposite side, your opposite leg, you're going to be able to generate a little bit more power and a little bit more leverage. This is going to allow for a little bit more progression. It's more of a powerful movement, and that scares some people, but don't be afraid of the power. Because of the power of this movement, and because you're able to generate additional power and you have a bigger progression window, I find it to be an extremely viable and useful exercise. So let's cut to some of the video on Bulldozer Laterals.
Just feel like crap. So what I'll do is I'll take a dumbbell, I'll start it down here in this position, and I'll explode it up. Explode it up. It's like drawing a sword. That's how I teach it, like drawing a sword.
So basically, you have the dumbbell in one hand, like you see here, and you're holding it. So you'll kind of draw a sword. From there, you'll explode it up like a lateral, and then you return it to that position where you hold it just for a split second. The reason why you hold it just for a split second is to stop the momentum. You don't want it just to swing back and forth.
So I start after each rep, I lock it in place, and then I explode it up. Now I'm going to do 10 reps of dumbbell laterals, and then I'm going to finish off with 10.
So ignore the superset here because that's just something I did in this video at home. But this is going to show you, this should show you the Bulldozer Lateral.
I'm using a 45-pound dumbbell. Again, I start in this position. Here we go.
Now you can see I return it to the opposite side, grab it just for a split second. And because I'm starting it on the opposite side, it allows for a little bit better leverage and a little bit better power generation. When you're driving these up, make sure you drive up by driving your elbow up and not the weight. All right, so I'm going to move on. Let's move on to skull destroyers, and we'll save the most controversial for last. So this is a video from Facebook. This is an exercise called the Skull Destroyer. Basically, I wanted a finisher for my triceps, and straight sets of skull crushers felt boring to me. So what I did was I combined my skull crushers, and in between doing 2 or 3 reps of skull crushers, I would do a quick 2 or 3 reps of a close grip bench. So basically, I started out when I gave these to my clients originally, I would start out with 40 total reps. But here I eventually moved them to 30. You can do this rest pause style. So if you get to like 20 reps or whatever and you need a break, you can just hold it on your chest for a split second and then continue. When you're doing the skull crusher aspect, make sure you take it down to the top of your head and not your eyes. Allow it to go down here to the top of your head. Allow your elbows to open up naturally if they want to. That'll place a little bit, I find it places a little bit less stress on your elbows. Now, I generally don't recommend more than 2 sets of these. Again, you can do them for 30 or 40 total reps. You can alternate between 2s and 3s or change it up during the middle of this. It doesn't matter. You can do 3 sets of skull crushers, or excuse me, 3 reps of skull crushers, then 3 reps of close grip bench, and then 2 reps of skulls and 2 reps of close grip bench. You can change it up however you want. Just try to get to 30 or 40 total reps. So here's how it looks. Down to the top of your head and up. 1, 2, 1, 2. So I did 2s there. Now, when you're doing these reps, you want to think about right here, driving your elbows together to lock out the weight on both of these movements. So I continue this pattern until I get to 30 or 40 total reps. Generally, 30 reps is a good place to start. Here I did 2s. A lot of times I'll start out with 3s, then I'll work back to 2s, and you just keep going. This is a great exercise to keep in your, and here you might do a finisher at the end like I'm doing, but this is a great exercise to work into your triceps battle plan. And I like for each of my clients to do this at least once a week. Now, I'm going to show you next the Bulldozer Row. A lot of people call these croc rows, but these are not croc rows. This is a row variation that basically, I hate to use the word I created because obviously somebody's been doing dumbbell rows like this before, but I'm most known for. So we're going to call these Bulldozer rows. So these scare a lot of people because they're powerful and you have a little bit of torso twist in them. But trust me, if you get strong at this exercise, it's really going to help bring up your overall upper body strength, your overall back strength, and your overall deadlift strength. If you think about it, here I don't know what I was doing 200 for more than 20s. These are the Ronnie Coleman dumbbells at the Power Station gym. If you think about it, if you're able to do this type of Bulldozer row for a lot of weight for a lot of reps, imagine what that will do to translate to overall deadlift strength. Now, why set the weight down in between reps like this? Number one, it's easier on the lower back. One of the things that you rarely hear discussed is the impact of barbell rows, pendlay rows, or dumbbell rows on the lower back. If you're doing your squats and deadlifts and RDLs and shrugs and all that kind of happy horse shit, and then you add in barbell rows and dumbbell rows, you're placing a lot of stress on your lower back. I find by briefly setting it down in between reps, you're able to remove some of the overall pressure on your lower back. Now, some people from the constant tension world lay an egg. This scares them because we're setting the weight down for a split second. But, you can do whatever you want. If you want to live in the constant tension world where you never set the weight down, fine. Setting it down for a split, don't for a second, though, think that this isn't going to build brutal strength and brutal amounts of muscle mass just because you're releasing the pressure, releasing the tension just for a split second. Now, the power in these scare people as well. When it comes to powering a weight off your chest, no one bats an eye at that power generation. That's called the bench press, right? Generating power out of the hole on a squat, no one bats an eye, right? But that's how you have to squat. You have to generate power out of the hole. Generating power off the floor is part of a deadlift, but no one bats an eye. But I swear, I will go to my grave getting attacked for generating power on what I'm calling the Bulldozer Row. You want to I focus on driving my elbow and shoulder back at the same time. People will see these and assume I'm just an idiot that's not getting a good back feel. But I can tell you, I've done these for a very long time, over 15 years, and I generate a lot of amazing back feel. I focus on driving my elbows and my shoulders back on every rep, and there is a great back feel with this exercise. So do not let the power fool you. So without further ado, here we go. So you can see, watch my shoulder. You can see the mid part, the front delt starts around my chin level and ends up over my ear. So there's a little bit of torso sway. There's a little bit of power generation, but we're driving the shoulders and the elbows back here to move the weight. And because we're doing that, we're creating a lot of power and we're creating a lot of back feel. And normally I do these for 20 reps or whatever. So try these exercises. Don't be afraid of them, especially with the Bulldozer Laterals and with the Bulldozer Rows that you're generating a little bit more power, a little bit more leverage friendly. We're trying to work some exercise variety here in the mix, and we're trying to build overall strength. And don't be afraid of the power of those two exercises. On Skull Destroyers, you will be surprised if you try them at how difficult they actually are. You'll think, oh, they look rather easy, but after 2 sets, you're going to be torched. And they're an exercise that most of my clients actually find are more difficult to add weight to. So guys, hope these videos have been of some help. If you have any questions or comments, drop them down below. If you made it this far in this video and have yet to subscribe to my channel, please do. I'd appreciate the support. So guys, as always, thanks for watching. Have a great day.